Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 1002. 1002. And this episode's going to be about how AI can screw you and screw your traffic. So we don't want that to happen to you. I hope you didn't miss episode 1001. That was how to have a successful podcast that can have 1,000 episodes. Okay. And grab a copy of our automation ebook. The new one is version 3.0. So if you have got one in the past, I want you to do it again. Go to screwthecommute.com/automate free. And of course, anytime you want to get to a back episode, like how to have a successful podcast, which was 1001, you go screwthecommute.com/ and then the episode number 1001. Also, check out my mentor program at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com and my school at imtcva.org. Just had a brand new graduate, Jen Amos, she has a podcast for military folks, and they have a business that helps out veterans. Okay, so let's see. So you want to crank out content fast with AI, huh? Is that what you want to do? Well, not so, quote, fast. And I'll tell you why. Because it can screw you. That's why. It can screw your traffic. Now, there's a famous SEO guy. His name is Neil Patel. And he did an experiment, and I'll have the link if you want to read all the details in the show notes. And he did this experiment with AI and how long it takes to create a good piece of content with AI as opposed to a human. And he found out with his experiment, he has a big team of people and a big company, that it took 16 minutes with AI, but it took 69 minutes with humans. He ended up doing a whole bunch of articles, like 744 articles. So it was a pretty significant test. So yes, it saved time, but he also found out that 94.12, he's very exacting, 94.12% of the time, the human articles outranked the AI articles in the search engines. And why do you think this is? Well, he says that pretty much AI just regurgitates stuff it finds on the internet. It doesn't create it from scratch, just kind of regurgitates it. And this was a really good experiment. He, has control, I guess, of a lot of websites. So he used 68 websites, and he put 744 articles on these 68 websites and tried to keep everything as standardized as possible, like with keywords, what they're using and difficulty of keywords and all that. And he tracked these articles over 5 months. And what he found was that the artificial intelligence articles got 52 visitors per month each, average. But the human ones got an average of 283 per month. That's almost 6 times as many visitors from the human articles from the AI articles. And so a lot of people were saying, well, yeah, but if I just crank out loads and loads of articles really fast with AI, I'll get the same amount of traffic. Well, again, not so fast, okay? Because if you're getting poor quality articles up there and content, then your site is going to start going downhill in the eyes of Google. Again, we're not a big fan of search engine stuff. I'm just trying to give you some more insights of how to carefully use AI if you're going to use it at all. So yes, it's still faster, but if you just slop the AI articles up there as is, first of all, I told you in AI hallucination several episodes ago that sometimes the stuff is just wrong. the information is just wrong or made up out of thin air. Well, you don't want to look stupid and hurt your credibility by putting up stuff that doesn't even exist. So that's one thing that you got to watch for. But just with his numbers alone, you got to see that, hey, you're not getting the traffic or the bang for your buck out of this. So, and he owns an AI writing generator. All right. So this guy seems like he's pretty credible and reasonable. So he says, yeah, you can use AI, but it kind of reminds me of, what I've been teaching for years on PLR ebooks, private label ebooks, where you buy an ebook for $5 or $10, but then you got to heavily modify it so that it's yours. And that's the same with the AI written content for you. You got to heavily modify it if you want to use it. And sometimes, it gets to the point where by the time you heavily modify it, you could have written it yourself. All right. I think AI is handy for doing outlines and getting you what you should be doing fast. I could figure all this stuff out on my ebooks, but buying a PLR book, it kind of laid out the chapters for me. And I said, oh yeah, I need to write about that. And it sped up the process. So I'm okay with AI for speeding up the process. But if you go on this guy's testing, if you just slop it up there, you're really hurting yourself in the eyes of the world, especially if it's information that's wrong. And if it's information that's just regurgitated, then your quality score is going down of your website, and people might recognize it and say, oh, this is just rehashed crap. So that's what you got to watch out for with AI for creating content. Be careful. If you use it, heavily modify what's being used. So there's a more of a human element in it than there is the AI. All right, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Check out my Great Internet Marketing Training Program. That's my mentor program at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com. It's the longest running, most unique, most successful ever in the field of internet and digital marketing. And the spinoff to that was my school. It's the only licensed dedicated internet and digital marketing school in the country, probably the world, where you can get a highly in-demand education and not break the bank and not waste money on crap books that they overprice by 1,000%. You can get it all within 6 months, and we have people making money before they even graduate. So check that out at imtcva.org, and I will catch you on the next episode. See you later.